Hey, greetings everybody, and welcome to another Jamie's Journey. And today we're actually just outside of Melbourne, Australia, and we're at a nice regional park, and we're doing some koala sighting, and also we're going to be doing some kangaroo sighting. But we got some great shots of koala, and I have with me Janine. Hi, Janine.
How are you?
Hey, great, thank you. First of all, tell us what's the name of the park we're at?
The Yuyangs.
Yuyangs Park.
The Yuyangs, yeah. It's a
and
bit Aboriginal.
How big it is, the park?
The park is 1,200 hectares, so it's not really huge, but it's an island. So there's a forest here with plains all around the outside. So it's a really important refuge for wild koalas.
Yeah, well, it is beautiful, and we had a good day for it. It's really nice and cool.
Yeah.
I understand the week before we were here, it was a sweltering heat.
Unbelievable. We had 48 degrees Celsius here in this park. It was the highest temperature in the state, but that's not something to be proud of.
No. Well, tell us a little bit about the koalas and their habitat and how they live.
The koalas here mostly live in the river red gums, which are these trees just behind us.
That's a type of eucalyptus.
It's a type of eucalyptus tree, yeah, that's right. It's actually one of the most famous ones. You'll see it all through Australia. So right into the outback and things like that, you'll see it there too. But koalas only live on the east coast of Australia pretty much, and down into the south a little bit. And there's not many places where you can see them so close to a major city. Melbourne is one of the best places to see them in the wild.
Yeah.
They're still roaming free in places like this, and just doing what they've always done, you know, for eons, living in trees, eating gum leaves, sleeping, and all the other nice things that go to making a life.
Yeah, so the gum leaves, that gives them all their nutrition, that's all they eat?
Yeah, that's all they eat.
And they don't really drink per se, do they?
They don't drink a lot, but what we've noticed here is that they will drink the rain as it runs down the trunk of the tree. They'll lick at the rain as it runs down, so it's very, very cute to watch if you ever get a chance.
Actually, you were talking about at this time in Australia, maybe for the last 10 years, this region has been in a pretty severe drought, right?
We have, yeah.
And it's kind of affected, we see the behavior of the koala in some instances?
It has. We're noticing that koalas are drinking a lot more. Whenever they get the opportunity of rain running down, they will really lick it with vigour. Other things I'm noticing, I think the koalas are concentrating into certain good areas, whereas in the past they would have been more spread out. But we will wait and see. I think it is shortening their lifespan a little bit. So what would have been maybe a 12 or 14 year life for a male is maybe down to about 10.
Really? That's all they live?
Yeah,
wow.
They should live longer, but the boys do it hard, you know.
Yeah.
The girls have a fairly good life. The boys, though, they have to deal with females who can be absolutely difficult.
That's why we live shorter lives too. I guess. Yeah. Now I noticed what we've seen, we've only seen one in a tree. Is that normal?
That's normal.
Just one?
Yeah.
They each get their own tree?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
most of the year, but we are seeing some interesting examples where two koalas, the same two, will be in the same tree on several different occasions through the year, and not always in breeding season. And I think, is there a special relationship between those two going on? I don't know, but it's the same ones, Merle and Karen, Merle and Karen, Merle and Karen, 5 times in 1 year. And I don't know whether they've just got a special friendship or whether she's his mum. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. So it's exciting.
So it's only during mating season when the female might let someone else up in the tree for a little while.
Well, I don't know what goes on. Normally the female can be quite difficult to the male.
Yeah.
She gives him a fairly hard time. And even though she's smaller, she's got a fair bit of spirit, shall we say. So if a male is coming along up the tree after she's already in it, she's above him, she can swipe at him with her claws and do a lot of damage around to his face. So she's got the upper hand, which is a good way to be.
Literally. Gosh, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about the breeding. Obviously they breed in the trees.
Yes, they do.
And you say it's like 5 times a year possibility?
No, the male, like Merle that we just saw, he would breed with several different females if he can. Obviously, if he's not very attractive, he might only breed with one or maybe none. But if the girls like him, he might have some success.
Yeah.
But he has to almost fight his way into a breeding situation. So he has to be very powerful and very courageous to take on some of these sharp-clawed girls. He'll go into the tree that she's in earlier in the day or even the day before he wants to breed. And then he'll stay in the tree. They'll appear to ignore each other. It's quite funny. And then later on in the night, he'll go up the tree and he'll start roaring. And it's the funniest sound. It goes. And she will sometimes respond in kind and go.
That's a good thing, I guess.
Well, I don't know. That sounds awful. But then there's a bit of a tussle in the top of the trees, and then it all happens.
Yeah. And the gestation period is about 35 days, you said?
That's only 35 days.
And then it comes out the baby comes out the size of a pig.
A little tiny jelly bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it has I would call it a pouch, but you probably call it a pouch.
Yeah,
that's the technical.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it attaches inside the pouch?
Yes, there's 2 nipples in the pouch, so he attaches to one of them.
Yeah.
And then he stays on that. He doesn't really jump on and off, because at this stage, this little thing's an embryo, you know. It's really not a functioning baby, if you like. It's acting very much as a very immature little creature, and it just drips milk into that little stomach and starts growing into a koala, starts growing that beautiful little nose.
Yeah, and then eventually they grow and they start hanging out in the tree together for a while?
The mothers and the babies stay together usually for about a year. Even after the baby's big, he'll still be in the same tree as his mother, or she will. And with the female babies, we've found that they'll take up a territory often next door to their mother and spend maybe the rest of their life with their mum. Yes, we're not far away, being good friends. The boys, though, they have to leave because all the girls in the area might be related to their mum and related to them. So there's no breeding opportunities there. They have to clear off, go up into the hills maybe.
Yeah.
It's tough life.
Well, this is great to visit here, and thank you for your information, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Good. Pleasure.
Thank you, Janine.
Fantastic.
right, from the koalas, we came over and saw the kangaroos and emus, and we're with Roger Smith. Hey, Roger. Hey, thanks for a great job today. And Roger and Janine are actually business partners of 14 years, right?
Yep, we've been, you've met Janine up with the koalas. Yeah, we've been operating a kid in a walkabout now for about 16 years actually. Yeah, 16 years. It's amazing how quickly it goes, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job today, and we saw an awful lot. We saw the kangaroos. How many different breeds of kangaroos are there, and what did we see?
Today you saw, I believe up in the Yuyangs, you would have seen a couple of the black wallabies, and there was one here too.
Yeah.
And we also had a look at the eastern grey kangaroos. There's five main types of kangaroos in Australia. We've only got the one here, which is the eastern grey kangaroo. And that's what you've been looking at here today. Pretty large mobs here. We've got around about 350 here. And yeah, the eastern grey is the largest of our kangaroos. It'd stand well over your head if he got up nice and tall. So a bit bigger than me. Punched me right in the nose.
Yeah, I hear sometimes they get a little aggressive with one another when they're fighting over the girls.
Yeah, it's interesting. The male, when the rains come and the grass starts to grow, the males do what all of us men do. We get interested in the girls.
Yeah.
And of course, when too many guys get interested in the girls, they start to get a little bit feisty and try and punch each other up. And when they stand up on their hind legs, they get right up high, prop themselves up on their tail. And every now and again they'll lean back on the tail and kick the other guy with both feet right in the guts.
Really?
Yep.
And they can just balance like that on the tail?
On their tail. I've actually seen a male kangaroo kick 5 times another male kangaroo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come back down. So he's sat up there just on the power of his own tail.
Wow. Now, the wallaby is not a kangaroo, is that correct?
It's a member of the kangaroo family. It's a member of the macropod family. But the true kangaroos eat grass, and that's all they eat. So that's how we define the difference between the wallabies, the smaller kangaroos, and the bigger kangaroos. The bigger kangaroos eat grass, and the other ones browse on leaves and so forth. Yeah. So the one you saw today was the eastern grey kangaroo. Yeah.
And the wallabies kind of hang out on their own?
Yeah, they're usually singular, every now and again in small groups, but the kangaroos have a tendency to congregate in very large groups, sometimes up to 1,000. You know,
call that a mob, is that right?
Call it a mob, yeah. We call them a mob, and we call them a mob because a herd has a tendency to follow the leader, whereas kangaroos have a tendency to make up their mind. They're very independent and they do their own thing.
Yeah, and we got some nice look at some emus today. That was fantastic too.
Yeah,
and other wildlife.
Aren't they a wonderful bird? Yeah. Yep.
Well, Roger, I know we got to run and head back to the ship, but thank you so much, and Janine. We just had a great day out here in Melbourne, Australia. So thanks for tuning in to Jamie's Journeys, and come travel with us again. So good day, mate.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
Thank you.